Hey YouTube, this is the SuperiorAutocraft channel. We have featured firearms, automobiles, all sorts of fun stuff. This is a in-depth review of the Benelli Supernova tactical model, and not a whole lot of reviews out there for this gun. I just wanted to kind of share mine and go over a few points, and we can kind of let people weigh in and see what they think in comments, obviously, but it's mostly going to be personal experiences and data collected from outings with this shotgun. So in case you don't know, it's the Supernova model. Benelli is a 12 gauge pump action. It takes up to, usually I shoot 2 and 3/4 inch shells, but it'll go 3 and I believe 3.5 shells as well. The reason I purchased this shotgun was I was looking for a good flexible option. I like the quality of the Benelli. You know, a lot of these, not this exact model, but of course you got the M1014 model used in the U.S. Armed Forces. Various other armed forces around the world use Benelli shotguns. So I think it's a good solid choice. I like the Supernova because I like the pump action itself. I do like semi-auto, but it's a little bit more complicated. It adds some more, how can I put this? The semi-automatic version, partly it's a love of manual operation of a weapon and lack of chance for malfunction. So take that for what it's worth. The other factor is obviously the cool factor, and I think this is a really nice, attractive weapon. I think it's got a lot of good things going for it. For instance, there's the pistol grip option. You know, I really like this. The length of the forend here is forearm fixture is very long, so you got a lot of surface area. We've got some nice texturing here for grip. This kind of rests in your finger, thumb can kind of index on this part of the pump. So it's a quality piece. It's very, very comfortable. I do love a lot of aspects of it. Speaking of comfort, you know, kind of delving into ergonomics. Before we get too far in, let's just go ahead. I do have a snap cap in this weapon, so let's go ahead and extract that. Obviously empty, and we have our orange bumper on the bottom, so we're good to go there. Find this gun to be very, very comfortable. It's got a rubberized backstop here, which is also how you access the back of the stock. I really like the texture and material of the pistol grip. I have relatively small hands, but I love the weight and feel of this pistol grip. Now, I know not everybody likes a pistol grip on a shotgun. I kind of go back and forth myself, but you know, this being, again, a shotgun has a lot of flexibility. We can always change stocks, change barrels. You know, I like this because I can always go to a longer barrel if I want to use it. You know, if I need chokes, if I want to use it for hunting purposes, it can basically do everything that it needs to do. You know, defensive purposes, hunting purposes, you name it. Sport shooting, etc. Now, but this is a fairly thick and meaty pistol grip, and normally that to me is can be a little hard to get hands around. But I find this one to be very nice. It's got a nice rubberized finish. Only problem, obviously, you get markings on there. It kind of sticks in the rubber, but it really fits nicely in the hand and gives you a good solid brace when you're shouldering this weapon. You've got your kind of your pull action on here. You're kind of pushing on the forend, and it gives you a nice, solid, good weapon control, and that's a big plus. Weight is advertised at 7.2 pounds. I haven't put it on a scale myself, but you know, I have no reason to argue. Obviously, you start adding things onto it, and you're going to start to build up that weight. But as it stands now, it's probably, I couldn't picture this thing being over 8.5 pounds, but again, haven't put it on a scale with all the accessories. So take that for what it's worth. I find it's really light. It's you know, composite construction here. This is again, more plastic pieces. The receiver itself, you know, you've got steel in the bolt, but and the barrel. But again, it's a matter of you know, how much can you reasonably stick on a gun, and when is it too much? People like to accessorize the hell out of something, and sometimes it goes too far. This one's probably right on the edge. I know you're looking at this shell carrier and you're probably thinking it's ridiculous. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But yeah, this one's kind of teetering on the edge of getting higher up there in the number of accessories. The one thing I don't have on here right now, I have it in the closet. There's a flashlight mount for that tube extension on the front. And I think if you're going to run any weapon defensively, you need to be able to ID your target. Flashlight's going to be essential, especially with some type of two-handed operation, such as a pump-action shotgun. You're not going to be manipulating this one-handed. You could. I would really advise against it. I don't want to be holding a flashlight with one hand and a shotgun in the other. So, reliability. I talked a little bit about construction. This is all various plastics, polymers, steel. It's a pretty your average blend of a current firearm. I think they made good choices as to what needs to be what. All the real crucial operating parts are metal, and only the non-essential components are plastic of some kind. So the other thing, sorry, to jump back real quick, talking about ergonomics, Takedown is a little more complicated on the pistol grip version, and this I did not know when I got it, and I should have looked into it, but you need tools to take down this gun. And the reason for that is because in order to remove the trigger group out the bottom, you have to clear this swell that is here because of the pistol grip. If you had a traditional fixed stock, this part is basically deleted, and you'd have a different curvature there to grip when you grip hold of this component. So this adds this segment on the stock, and this causes it to be so that you cannot pull this component, this trigger group out once you remove these pins. You cannot remove this trigger group unless you first loosen the stock. And in order to do that, you actually have to remove this butt pad, which just pulls off. See if I can do this in a hurry here. Hold on, let's see you're off camera. Okay. You remove the butt pad, and inside here is a single 13mm fixture that attaches to the recoil tube going down here off the back of the receiver. And you need to do that. You don't need to take it off, but to loosen this enough to drop the trigger group. And that is kind of a issue to me, anyway. Obviously, once you start attaching a bunch of stuff to the gun, things get more complicated. This ties into that system, so it's adding to that. And then, obviously, with the new tube extension, there's additional considerations because now you need tools to take all this off, to remove this, to get the tube extension out, to get the barrel out. So you have to make some solid decisions there, some well thought out decisions. If you're going to be using this in the field and need to be able to service it without tools, you might want to get the regular stock plain Jane and run that, because otherwise you're asking for, you're going to have to add extra weight and complication in carrying tools. And God forbid you need to clear a problem if there's some type of weapon malfunction that requires you to take the gun down. You're dealing with a big issue. So that's one thing to keep in mind. As far as reliability, this gun is shot 100%. I've never had a failure. I've never had a jam. I've never had anything happen. It has always gone bang when I squeeze the trigger. So, obviously very important. I'd say reliability is 100%. And I've put several hundred shells through this gun already. I love shooting it. I always tend to take it with me whenever I go out. So, it's definitely seen a variety of things. Usually shooting Winchester Ranger is what I've been shooting lately. A low recoil double-aught buck. Train with what you want to use. So this is just your standard 2 3/4 low recoil system. What's feet per second on these? I'm not going to waste your time. And then obviously we've been shooting. I shot some Winchester slugs. This is Federal. I haven't shot these Vital Shocks yet, but another low recoil variety. And these are 1,300 feet per second. So not the fastest rounds, but again, you have to make different decisions. I have shot higher velocity slugs out of it, and that's worked out just fine. I've shot bird shot, you know, you name it. It's cycled through this gun. It eats it all. It doesn't care. So that is excellent as far as reliability is concerned. Price is, I think, one of the really attractive options of this gun. It's 480 is, I think MSRP is 489-ish. I paid 480, but then I had at the time Benelli was running a $50 rebate, mail-in rebate for these, so I ended up paying 430, which is a fantastic price. I mean, $430 for a you know, a Benelli Supernova pump-action shotgun, I think is a fantastic deal. So I think the price is excellent. I looked at the Mossbergs, I looked at the Remingtons, and you could get a lot of the same stuff, but it always seemed to cost more. The base models were usually cheaper, but as soon as you wanted to add anything tactical, they wanted to jump up in price. So it was kind of ridiculous. I thought this was pretty much the best deal out there at the time. Accessories, lots. No, I have a lot of accessories on this, but it's a little hard to find them. You know, the Benelli, this Benelli is not very widespread. That's part of the reason I like it. It's kind of cool having a gun that's a little more rare. They make parts for it. You just kind of look around. So we've got a few things on here. Benelli does, now, just so you know, Benelli makes a factory tube extension and a factory collapsible stock. I don't see the need for a collapsible stock. I might get it just for the cool factor and just kind of to play around with, but it costs almost as much. I think it's $400 I've seen online. It's almost as much the price of the gun for the collapsible stock, so that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But other accessories that do is shell carriers. And again, you probably think this is absolutely ridiculous. 8-shot shell carrier on the top with a rail, and then a 4-shot shell carrier on the back. This is kind of a neat one. It ties on your sling point. This used to be an ambi sling attachment. Instead, this replaces one side. Last I checked, I wasn't ambidextrous, so I run that. But the thing to keep in mind is shotguns have very, very limited capacity. So, you know, once you go click and pull this back and this is empty, that happens a lot faster than you realize. It's not like a rifle or a handgun. You know, you got handguns, Glocks, you can get 33 rounds, you know, drum mags for different rifles. Not really an option on a shotgun, especially not a pump gun. So you have to realize that what you have on you is pretty much what you've got. You can't reload it like a magazine, so you kind of got to plan that out. What I do is load this all up, and load this all up. This gets me the tube of 7 plus 1 in the chamber. This gets me an entire full reload, and this is usually I'll put slugs back here for doing slug changeovers, which is fun to practice, and I think everybody needs to kind of learn how to do. But these are kind of neat. These are Mesa tactical pieces, and I really like them because they're machined aluminum, and this has a backing plate. What this is, 2 pieces. So you've got your machined aluminum rail top, and then you've got the shell carrier itself. And inside here, this is a solid piece. Inside there's a piece of rubberized cord that is what retains the shell. And basically, when you, you know, this is, instead of these being elasticized or being plastic and flexing, this is rigid, and this strip in here, you can remove this piece and replace it if it wears out, or you can even change the tension if it's too tight, if it's too loose. Mesa Tactical, you just tell them, they will send you a new one free of charge, lifetime. So basically these are, I don't know if replacement's lifetime, but as far as I understood on the website, adjusting the tension for lifetime, they will do that for you. So that's why I have this many, you know, this large shell carrier on here. You know, shotguns, it's you're limited on ammunition, so you have to keep that in mind. Other accessories, obviously I talked about the tube extension. This is a Takstar tube extension. It's pretty basic. There's not a lot that can go wrong. It works out great. This is a Takstar brace, and the only reason I got that was I got it on sale with the sling attachment point because I was having trouble finding a sling attachment point. This is the factory ring spot, and I don't really like it. It's kind of small. It's not very flexible, so I have this sling attachment point for a 1-inch sling. And on the back, we have just a normal sling loop back here. And this is a another Takstar piece. This is a sling with kind of this loop section through here. Lets you drape you over your body so you can let this hang, which is kind of nice. I also have Meprolite night sights. Again, talking about operations at night. They work really, really well, but you do lose a little bit of resolution. You know, with the factory sights are bright white dots. with the ghost, you get the ghost ring rear, the post front. It's very fast and easy to acquire the sights. I trained with those long enough that now I know the shape of it. When just the general silhouette lines up, I know I'm on target. I don't necessarily need the dots anymore. So it's kind of nice, and at night or in shooting into the evening, I can shoot later at night and still have my sights available to me. They work out really well. I had some problems with the front install where this stripped out. I'm running a washer now and kind of chewed up my this platform that this post goes onto. Is a little tricky to install the front, so be careful if you do it yourself. I had to rethread this new front sight, so it's kind of tricky. It doesn't have a really good feel when you're in there because you usually have to use needle nose pliers to put this front sight piece on. So now it's on there. Got a nice washer, Loctite. It's all put together. It's hunky dory, but just keep that in mind if you decide to do that yourself. I think this gun is done. I wouldn't put anything else on it. Every once in a while you get the itch for a red dot. Maybe someday, just for point and shoot, but at the ranges I'm engaging, at the fun I'm having, the iron sights work just fine. I find them to be more than adequate. If I need to, I can always switch off to the originals, but I don't think it's a problem. I've gotten to be quite competent shooting these irons and transitioning over to the night sights. So all in all, I think it's an excellent, excellent firearm. I think it's a great choice to look at. I think not enough people consider them. I think there's just enough accessories out there to justify it. If there wasn't a tube extension, I'd have serious doubts, but there is. So, yeah, I think it's attractive, reliable, and good value. So that's my personal opinion on the Benelli Supernova Tactical Pump Action. Take it or leave it. I will say one thing. I think this gun has an awesome sound to it when you operate that pump system. It is really, really excellent. So I'm not going to argue with that. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy this, go ahead and favorite, subscribe, thumbs up, do what you got to do, and hope to see more later on. I'm going to have some more firearms featured on here. Stay tuned. Thanks.